Hey guys, DJ here at Top Tech Cards and Games. Today I'm going to do a Spyral deck tech. I think this is probably going to be the deck you see the most for the next couple of months, depending on when we get another list or if there's any sort of innovation here in the TCG that I'm not aware of. But right now my main focus is on building a good Spyral list and getting good at playing the mirror. So I think this is a fine place to start. I have not had a lot of help on this so far. Basically I just looked at what they were playing in Japan, what we had in comparison to them, and sort of tweaked the deck from there to hopefully fit a little bit better for what is available in the TCG and use some of the cards that we have that they don't. Anyways, this is kind of a pretty stock list. I'm just going to give you guys some thoughts as I go through, some cards that I'm not playing, cards that I'm not playing. I'm not going to go through any big breakdowns of combos because there's so many different lines in this deck that I don't think I could actually make a reasonably length video and talk about them. Plus, I don't know all the plays yet. I'm still learning a lot with this deck. And I think there's a lot of space to learn and grow with it. So, first thing, we have 3 copies of Spyral Quick Fix. From what I've noticed, basically, if you open with Quick Fix, your hand is probably good. Normally, you can make something happen as long as you have it. If you're not familiar, it lets you search out a Spyral Gear card, and you can pitch a card from your hand to special it from your grave. Then when it leaves you the field, you banish it. Excuse me. Then I have 3 Spyral Gear Drone. This lets you rearrange the top 3 cards of your deck so that you're able to make sure you hit with your double helixes and your super agents. That way you're definitely getting guaranteed special summons and able to continue your plays. The other cool thing about this card, the other 2 cool things about this card actually, are that number 1, it's a machine with less than 500 attack, so we can dupe it just like we can Quick Fix. And dupe Spyral Gear isn't quite as good as dupe Quick Fix, but it still is going to let you go off pretty crazy. The other cool thing is that its ability lets you tribute it to give one of your monsters plus 500 attack times the number of cards your opponent controls. Yeah. The cool thing with that is that it lets you pump your guys up over Masterpiece, which is something this deck is going to have to deal with a lot more here in the TCG than it did in the OCG. Next we have 3 copies of Super Agent. To be completely honest, I've been sort of underwhelmed with this card, though I understand why it's important and why there's a lot of different hands where this card makes the hand work. Super Agent lets you special it from your hand if you call the top card of your deck, of your opponent's deck's type correctly, so monster, spell, trap, you reveal it, check the top card of their deck, and then you special your guy if you're right. First off, if you get to special it, great. It's a level 4 monster that comes into play. It's another body for you to link summon with. It also can blow up spells and traps when you're going second, which is cool. If you miss, you get to check the top card of your opponent's deck, and then at least you're going to hit with your double helix. So if you don't have a way to check with drone, at least this will let you check the top card to make sure you hit it. This isn't the kind of card that I love playing 3 of a lot of the time. It is a combo card, but it's kind of a clunky combo card because it's not guaranteed unless you have drone. So I'm not positive that 3 of this is actually the best number right now. Everyone else has been playing 3. There's a lot of cards that once you'd have a super agent in play, there's a lot of incentive for you to put multiple Spyral monsters in play, and playing it since it's level 4 makes it capable for us to make the Goose Gut. So right now I am playing all 3, as well as a road to actually search it, but that's something that I could see experimenting with down the line. The rest of my Spyral monsters, I have 1 Spyral Sleeper, 1 Spyral Master Plan, and 1 Spyral Gear Last Resort. So Master Plan is an important combo card. You're going to get it basically every time that you're going off, since when it's summoned it lets you search a Spyral mission, and then when it's sent to the grave it lets you search a Spyral monster and a Spyral Resort. That way you can search some more cards up. In the end game of your loop, you generally want to make sure you get Sleeper in play with Last Resort. Sleeper is a Scrap Dragon, essentially a little bit better than that, I guess. It lets you pop a Spyral card to pop 2 of your opponent's cards. And Last Resort makes it so your guy's unaffected by a bunch of different things. Can't be destroyed by battle, unaffected, or by card effects rather. Let's see, make sure I'm reading that right. Can't be destroyed by battle or card effects. Yeah, can't target it with card effects either. So, it's a really strong card. It's definitely hard to deal with, right? Because you have a 2800 beater that's able to pop multiple cards. So, that's kind of the end game of your loop. You're going to go through all your stuff, then end up with a big board plus this in play, which is going to be hard for your opponent to deal with. Next up, we have 1 Destrudo as our other combo creature. I've talked a lot about this card already in another video, but it's just so strong, able to get you into your extra deck to make Ancient Fairy, able to just extend your plays by giving you another body in play. I do play some hand traps. I have 3 copies of Ash Blossom, 2 copies of DD Crow, and 1 Maxi. Notably absent are Ghost Reaper, Ghost Ogre, Droll and Lockbird. Those are the other hand traps that you'll see a lot. Basically, I think Ash is the best one. I think Ash is the strongest hand trap that you can play against this deck, other than Maxi. Maxi is great as well, but we can only play one Maxi, so there it is. We're playing it. Ash is really strong. It stops Machine Dupe, it stops Double Helix, it stops various different searches. It just does everything. So Ash is great. I definitely would play 3 copies of it. DD Crow is not the next best hand trap, but since we can search it with Recite Starling, I think it's the next best one to play. The reason I'm playing 2 copies, originally I was only going to play 1, because you can search it up. If you already draw the 1 copy, you can make Sylvan Princess Sprite instead of DD Crow in that situation. Make sure I have Princess Sprite here. Yeah. So normally you're going to want to make Recite Starling and search DD Crow when you're comboing off. And I thought, oh, well, if I already draw my Crow, I can make a Princess Sprite instead, and then try to hit a spell and trap, and that'll let me go off further. What I found from my testing, my goldfishing and stuff, was that I really don't want to count on Princess Sprite hitting. It's not that big of a deal. I can play multiple Crows, guarantee I have something to get with Recite Starling, and then since DD Crow isn't a once per turn effect, you can actually get it back with any firewalls that you make while you're comboing, and then you can just Crow again and again, which gives you a bunch of ability to continuously disrupt your opponent, and that's why I think playing multiples is actually correct. Spells, first up we have 3 Machine Duplication, not too much to say here. If you draw a dupe, it's insane. Then 3 copies of Terraforming and 3 copies of Set Rotation. For a number of reasons, I think this is correct. First off, you want as many ways to get to Spyral Resort as possible, which is one of the field spells that we're playing. Spyral Resort's basically just a Rhoda for any of your Spyral monsters. It's going to get them into your hand, it's going to let you recycle them at the end of the turn, though that is an upkeep cost and it can get this card destroyed, but that's okay. And the other cool thing about it is that it stops your monsters from being targeted. So it's just a really strong card all around. It protects you, sets you up, and sets you in the future. It improves your grind game, increases your longevity. The other field spell that we have is a Dragon's Ravine, which we're going to get to dump our Destrudo. And I think that's another really good benefit, that we only have to play 1 copy of Ravine since we have all 6 of these cards to search them up. And then since we have Set Rotation, we have Gateway, so we can stop our opponent from using their Ravine in last resort. It makes it really powerful to go first, since you can activate Set Rotation, and it's just 1 brick in the deck. Not that this deck doesn't have any other bricked hands, but Gateway is kind of, I'm accepting that currently. I could see a world where you would rather play 2 Dragon's Ravines, for instance, and just accept you're going to blow up your opponent's field spell that you give them. That way you don't have any of the bricks. But I think Gateway is so strong that I'm okay with playing it. I know I've read that some people in Japan are actually playing targets for these cards, this in Oracle, so that they're not screwed if you play them. But that's a risk I'm willing to take, and if I have to juggle which field spell I play as my brick to give them, I'm willing to make that change, obviously. The other cool thing with this is that it stops your opponent from playing evenly matched on you, which I think is a really strong effect to have, because you really don't want your opponent to be able to banish your entire board for free. The nice thing about these cards is that they're always good. You're always going to be able to get a field spell and search something, especially Set Rotation, which I think is better than playing any sort of combo card like Foolish Burial Goods with Spyral Mission, Mission Assault, whatever the spell one is. So I think it's better than playing Burial Goods, and I think it's better than playing Double Summon for those reasons. It's a defensive card, it's an offensive card, you only have to play 1 brick as opposed to all the different situations where Burial Goods and Double Summons are brick on their own. And I just think that's the best way to go with the deck. So I'm playing 0 copies of those other cards, but maxing out on Set Rotations. I also have a copy of Rhoda, just as an additional copy of Super Agent. That's definitely a slot that I could see switched. Just to be totally upfront right now, I'm debating cutting it for Upstart Goblin. And then we have 1 copy of Big Red. I think you only need to play 1 copy of Big Red. It's a premature burial for the deck. You don't have to pay the life, and it also makes your monster so it can't die by battle. Really extremely strong card. But I'm playing 1 copy. It's searchable with Quick Fix. You're always going to get to search it when you go off. So I don't see a reason to play more than 1 since it's a once per turn effect, and it's not going to help us to have an additional copy sitting in our hand. Then some more combo cards. I have Foolish Burial and 1 for 1. These are additional copies of Quick Fix. They both can get Quick Fix in play. They make our Machine Dupes live. If we get Quick Fix with these cards, that means we're special summoning it, so we can normal summon Drone so that we can set up our Double Helix. So I think both these cards are extremely strong, and I feel very comfortable playing them both. The downside to both of them is how weak they are to hand traps. 1 for 1 for Quick Fix, your opponent can Ash that, so you're down 2 cards. If that was your only Quick Fix, you don't have any way to it. Obviously, Foolish Burial can be ashed, but it also makes you very susceptible to Crow, since you dump Quick Fix, pitch the Special Hit, and then your opponent Crows you. So definitely a reason to be wary about this card, but since it gives you the utility of also dumping Destrudo, I think that it's worth the card slot. Then our last spell is 1 copy of Soul Charge. Finally, for our traps, I have 1 copy of Spyral Mission Rescue. A really strong card. You're going to get it with Master Plan and then pitch it 99% of the time. Sometimes you hard draw it and then you still just pitch it with Quick Fix. I've said it once or twice. I've never actually used the effect in the games that I've played. Like I said, I haven't actually played any mirrors, but I've played a couple games with the deck. But it's a really strong card. It lets you banish it from your grave to special summon a Spyral monster. And then our last trap is 1 Spiral Gear Utility Wire. If you go off in any way with Quick Fix, where you get an abundance of Quick Fix searches, you get to search this up for free. You can only use it once per turn, but it lets you put a card your opponent controls, a face-up card, on top of their deck. So, really strong defensive card. I think it's worth playing the 1 copy, though I am debating not using it, just because it's only good when I'm going first, and it doesn't protect me from board wipes at all. Plus, if my opponent like Kaiju's my Helix, which wouldn't really make sense, they'd want to Kaiju my Sleeper, but it's a dead card in that situation as well. But I am still playing the 1 at this time. Other cards that aren't in the deck that normally, well not normally, but you see pretty frequently, I really think I covered most of it. I'm not playing any board wipes in my main either, because I think I'm better off just siding them. And then for Spyral monsters, I'm not playing a copy of Spyral Tough, which I know a lot of people do. I just think this is too grindy and fair. I don't need this in my main. I might side it to blow up Floodgates going second, but I'm not totally sold on that concept either. For my extra deck, I have 3 copies of Double Helix. This is something that I question the necessity of as well. From most of my observations, used to most games. Having the 3rd one is a nice luxury, especially if you're playing Ghost Cherries, or if you're siding Ghost Cherries even. That way, if you used to, you still have 1 to reveal to stop your opponent. But I'm not positive that that is a necessary evil. I am playing all 3 right now just because that is the standard, and I'm okay with keeping it. Then 2 copies of Firewall Dragon. Similarly to where I just said about Double Helix, I've seen a lot of lists playing 3, but I don't think that's necessary. You use 2 sometimes you don't even need both of those, but I don't think that 3 is necessary. Then we have Borreload Dragon, just a really strong effect, hard card to make, but if it's powerful in a situation, it's just insanely powerful. It can totally dominate the board, it's hard to deal with, it's hard to battle with, it just does everything so well. For some utility, I have Decode Talker, to set up negations, as well as to put some different cards in the graveyard in different situations. I also have a copy of Ningresu to help me control the board as well. And then a copy of Gaia Saber, just a generic 3-link that we can use to point down, or points both directions, whatever we need to set our board up. Excuse me. I haven't actually used this card yet either, but I think it's powerful enough, and I see it in most lists from other people, so I've left it in. Then a copy of Proxy Dragon. I have a couple synchros. I have Ancient Fairy, which is obviously extremely strong. It lets you control the field by popping your opponent's field spell, or you can use it to pop your own and search another field spell, and you special summon some monsters. So it's just an extremely good combo card. Then I also have Black Rose Dragon, which is another level 7 that we can make using Destrudo that helps us control our opponent's board by offering us a board wipe. Exceeds, I have Recite Starling and Dolhan for rank 1s. I'm not playing Princess Sprite, as I mentioned before. I think it's a really good card, but since I'm playing the extra Crow, I don't ever feel like I need a different monster that I can detach when I make a rank 1. The big plus to the rank 1s, actually, in case you guys didn't already know this, is if you bring back Quick Fix with its effect so that it would be removed, you overlay for a rank 1 and detach, then your Quick Fix is going to go to your bin instead of getting removed. So it's giving you a lot of bonuses to make these cards instead of just letting your Quick Fix get removed. But since I have the utility, I have Dull Hand for when I need it to kill something in battle, and I have Recite Starling for basically every other situation where I just want to search out Crow, or if I just want to pump up a guy. And then finally I have Guska. You're able to make him in the deck, and I think it's too good to ignore, so I'm definitely going to include him when I can. I don't think there's anything else crazy that I'm not playing. I think that really is a pretty standard extra deck, other than the lack of Princess Sprite, and the other card that I would consider playing is maybe Akashic Magician, but I don't think it's necessary by any stretch. So that's where I'm starting on the deck, guys. I don't have a sideboard made yet, though it's basically going to be a bunch of hand traps and some other flexible cards at the moment while I just try to tweak my list and figure out exactly where I want it. Let me know what you guys think down below, though. I know there's a lot of room for different combo cards in the deck that you can play. There's a decent number of required slots right now, I think, though I would definitely be willing to challenge the norms on that if you guys think there's something that we could cut that I'm playing. So I'm definitely interested to hear what you guys have to say down below, what experience you guys are having with playing Spyral, both against it or playing the mirror. Any ideas you guys have for how we can improve the deck or how we can beat it so that we can move forward in the meta and maybe not deal with, Spyral Winter where that's all you play until they give us another ban list. So let me know any suggestions you guys have, any questions you have for me, or any ways that you guys think that we can break the meta. So thanks a ton for watching, guys. We'll have more Yu-Gi-Oh content coming for you soon.